The tension in Cleveland has reached a boiling point, and it's all centered around one name, Shadur Sanders. The young quarterback's return from injury should have been a moment of celebration, a spark of hope for a struggling team searching for identity. Instead, it's turned into yet another chapter in the never-ending Browns drama, fueled by Kevin Stfansky's confusing statements and his refusal to give fans a straight answer. The coach's stuttering, awkward responses to simple questions about Shedur's readiness say it all. You can see it in his body language, hear it in his tone. He's not being transparent. When asked if Shadur would be back as QB2, he mumbled about limited practice and seeing how he responds, like a man who knows his excuses are starting to fall apart. It's no longer about recovery. It's about control. Shadur has been grinding relentlessly through rehab, showing the kind of commitment any coach would normally celebrate. But instead of encouragement, he gets indifference. Instead of opportunity, he gets resistance. Each time he gets close to proving he's ready, Stefanski moves the goalpost again, hiding behind vague medical talk and careful phrasing. The fans aren't buying it anymore. They've seen the training footage. They've seen the intensity in Shedur's eyes as he throws laser-sharp passes during drills. This isn't a player who's still hurt. It's a player who's being held back. And everyone's starting to ask the same question. Why? What's really going on behind the scenes? Because no one can understand how a player with Shedur's potential, a late first round draft pick with the kind of poise and mechanics teams dream about, can't even get reps on a team that's been falling apart offensively. It's starting to look like a power struggle, plain and simple. Stefanski's coaching style has always leaned toward caution, but lately it feels like fear. Fear of being proven wrong, fear of losing control, fear of watching his hand-picked system crumble the second Shadur gets his chance. The narrative about protecting Shedur's health is starting to sound like a thin cover story. If he's healthy enough to practice, why isn't he competing? If he's strong enough to travel back from Colorado and rejoin the team, why is he still limited? The reality is that Stefanski doesn't want to risk the inevitable comparison, because once Shadur takes the field, his skill will make it painfully clear how much time this team has wasted under a coach too stubborn to admit his mistakes. The rumors about fake or exaggerated injuries have only added fuel to the fire. It's almost comical at this point. A tired arm, then a shoulder issue, now a back problem. 3 different injuries in one season, yet Shadur hasn't even taken consistent first-team reps. It defies logic. The pattern is obvious. Every time momentum starts building toward his return, something mysterious happens to keep him sidelined. It's no wonder fans and insiders are beginning to suspect manipulation. How could a player working this hard, rehabbing daily, and showing up to practice still be labeled unfit? Either the Browns medical staff is running the worst rehab program in the league, or someone's deliberately keeping him off the field to protect fragile egos at the top. What makes it all worse is the hypocrisy. Stefanski keeps insisting the team is evaluating, that they're focused on improvement, yet nothing improves. The offense is lifeless, the quarterback play inconsistent, and the same excuses keep being recycled week after week. When asked about Dillon Gabriel's struggles, Stefanski's response is a masterclass in avoidance. "We need to play better as a unit," he says, refusing to hold anyone accountable. It's like he's allergic to honesty. Gabriel has been underperforming, plain and simple. The offense stalls under his leadership, yet Stefanski refuses to acknowledge it. Instead of setting clear goals or demanding results, he hides behind coach speak, hoping no one notices how little substance there is in his words. But the fans notice. They see what's happening. They see a head coach so obsessed with protecting his own narrative that he's sabotaging his own team. Every week it becomes clearer that this isn't about developing Shadur or managing his recovery. It's about preserving the illusion that Stefanski's decisions have been justified. It's about pride. The coach doesn't want to be proven wrong by the very player he's tried to downplay. Because once Shadur takes the field and starts lighting it up, it'll expose every bad call, every wasted opportunity, and every moment of hesitation that's defined this season. Even the local media can't ignore it anymore. Reporters are starting to push back, asking the hard questions fans have been screaming for weeks. Why is a supposedly healthy quarterback still limited? Why are the same excuses being repeated? Why does every update sound like damage control? Yet each time Stefanski steps to the mic, he finds a new way to say nothing. His press conferences have become predictable, a cycle of vague statements and hollow reassurances. We'll see how he responds. We're evaluating. We're improving. It's exhausting. Fans don't want to hear about plans or evaluations anymore. They want action. They want leadership. They want a coach who's willing to admit when he's wrong. The irony is that Shedur's behavior throughout all of this has been the exact opposite of what critics predicted. He hasn't complained. He hasn't thrown tantrums or gone to the media to air his frustrations. He's stayed focused, disciplined, and professional. Everything you'd want from a franchise quarterback. And that composure only makes the situation more damning for Stefanski, because the more mature and dedicated Shadur looks, the more foolish the coach appears for keeping him benched. It's not just bad optics anymore, it's bad football. Some analysts believe that as long as Kevin Stfansky is in charge, Shadur doesn't stand a chance. And they're probably right. Even with Tommy Ree stepping in to call plays, it's clear that Stefanski is still the one pulling the strings behind the curtain. The loyalty to Dillon Gabriel isn't about strategy, it's about saving face. Gabriel was his guy, his project, and admitting that experiment has failed would mean admitting he's lost control. That kind of humility just doesn't exist in Cleveland right now. Until that changes, Shedeur will remain the collateral damage of one man's pride. The entire situation has reached a point where the fan base no longer trusts the leadership. They're tired of watching talented players wasted while politics take priority over performance. Every game without Shedeur feels like another missed opportunity, another step backward for a team that can't afford any more mistakes. And if things don't change soon, Stefanski's job will be on the line, not because of injuries or bad luck, but because of his refusal to adapt. Cleveland has always been a city built on resilience and loyalty, but even the most patient fans have limits. They can tolerate losing seasons, but not lies. They can accept rebuilding years, but not manipulation. And if the Browns continue down this path, the noise from the stands will grow louder than anything coming out of those post-game pressers. Because fans don't want to hear excuses, they want to see Shadur Sanders finally get his shot. What do you think? Is this really about protecting Shedeur, or is Kevin Stfansky protecting himself? Is this just another example of ego getting in the way of talent? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more breakdowns, behind-the-scenes insights, and the latest updates on this Browns saga. The truth is only getting harder to hide, and something big is coming.